Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Today what I thought I would do is run through my electrical system in my four-wheel drive. Got a bit of interest when I did the budget build video a little while back, and I thought I'd just go into a little bit more detail for the people that want to know about the electrical system, because it's a pretty popular topic, and I feel like people might benefit from a few ideas on what to buy and how to set it up. So my electrical system is what you would call like a basic setup. Tried to keep it nice and simple. Apart from the solar panel, that's probably the only thing that I've put on there that's extra, that you don't necessarily need. But for me, it works well. And I'll explain that in a little bit. We'll start in the engine bay. Not a lot in here, but this is where it all starts, obviously. So that's the starter battery. And then off the starter battery, I've just run a negative and a positive wire, and they go through a fuse, and then from there they run in this corrugated tube and they go through the firewall at the back there. You might be able to see. That's pretty much everything in the engine bay, apart from things that I've got set up for my light bar and my radio set up. And then this is just an Anderson plug that I've set up so that I can run my compressor to pump up my tires. But as far as the actual electrical setup in the back, just got the negative and the positive wire. They run through the firewall, like I said, and then I've just run them underneath this little kick panel here. There's a channel inside there, and runs all the way to the back where my electrical setup is, and comes up through here, and I've just run some more corrugated tube. This is my charger. It's a Ctek D250SA. It's a nice simple charger to set up, good quality, and I've had a few of them, never had any issues. Just had them in different vehicles. That's the power coming in, and that's the neutral, and then I've got power going out, and I've got solar there. So the power going out heads into the battery box here, and that's where my battery's stored, obviously. That's a XTM brand battery box, but they're all pretty similar and have similar features. Just got two Anderson plugs on here. I've got a 12-volt socket there and a dual USB, and in the middle is a voltmeter to give me an idea of how much battery I've got. Here is my compressor. I've got it mounted to the drawer, and I've got an Anderson connector here. And I've basically got an Anderson extension lead that runs all the way to the front, so I can have the engine running and be using it off that, or if I wanted to, I could also run it off one of those Andersons in the back. Mainly what I have powered on my electrical system is just the fridge. That's the main reason that I set up the whole thing. Otherwise I probably wouldn't even need the electrical system. But I run the fridge off it. It's a 50 litre, it's a Waeco or a Dometic, depending on who you talk to. And it's just set up as a fridge. It can be a freezer, but I've just got it set up as a fridge at the moment. Plugs in through here. That's just the 12-volt outlet. I will probably in the future chop that lead and turn it into an Anderson so I can connect it up here, although I haven't had any issues with that coming loose yet. This is the USB outlet, and then I just got an on and off switch there, and the solar runs out the window because I didn't want to make any holes in the roof. I wanted to keep it fairly reversible just in case I change my mind. And basically runs out the window there. This window here just has a seal on it, and this cable's thin enough that it just squashes in the seal there. Runs up to the roof here. I've got it connected to an Anderson connector here, which can be unplugged, and then that cap can be put on, and it isolates the solar, and it's nice and weather resistant. And then the solar panel itself is just up on the roof rack. It's 110 watts, and I've got it mounted with some little mounting brackets, which you might be able to see under there. Like I said before, you don't necessarily need to have a solar panel in a setup. That's probably the one thing I've got here that I wouldn't say is basic. But for me, it was a big advantage because I wanted to leave my fridge running 24/7, and I don't always drive my car every day. So it would eventually drain the battery if I just left it sitting there with the fridge running. Also, the battery that I am running is only a 55 amp hour because it's a battery that I already had, so instead of going out and buying a new one, I just thought I'd use what I've got. So that means I really, with that fridge, would only get about a day, like 24 hours of solid use, and then it would start to damage the battery if it drained it any more than that. So the solar panel means that I can literally just, leave it, forget about it, and it'll just power it, and the fridge can run 24/7. As far as battery choices are concerned, I've got an AGM style battery in here, so it's a dry cell, and that's probably the better battery to use if you're going to have your battery enclosed in the back of your vehicle, because they don't let off any gas, so it's a lot safer for this sort of application. But if you are going to be putting your battery in the engine bay, then I have heard that AGMs are not necessarily the best one to use because they don't like the heat as much. So if you're having it in the engine bay, maybe just go with a standard deep cycle battery, and if you're running it in the back, then go with the AGM. Lithium, I'm not too sure about. I don't know that much about lithium. I'm assuming they'd probably be okay to run in the back because they don't gas. But yeah, if you're running either AGM or the standard batteries, just make your decision based on where it's going in the vehicle. Something else I should mention while we're on the topic of batteries is these things are pretty heavy, so don't forget to secure them so that they don't move. You don't want just a battery sitting in the back, because if you have a crash, it's going to come flying forward. So what I've got is a strap that goes around the whole box and underneath the timber here, and then I've just got some angled aluminium on the front and back to stop it from sliding forwards and backwards, and that's pretty solid in there. It doesn't move at all. Hopefully that helps some of you guys out there that are looking to set up an electrical system in your vehicle. Tried to keep it nice and simple and understandable. Let me know though if you do have any other questions about it. It's one of those topics that I always tend to get questions about. I'll do my best to answer them, and don't forget, if you like the video, to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you next time.